Listen, I'm excited to be with you. I'm excited about the content that I'm going to be delivering today. I'm telling you, this is one of the most important things that I can think to discuss today, and I think there are a lot of people that this will relate to. What I'm going to be talking about is three, not all of them, but three of what I believe are some of the biggest missed opportunities that all agents end up leaving behind. Okay? And so I think a lot of us get frustrated in this industry, especially getting started and trying to figure out how is it that I'm going to make my mark? How is it that I'm going to be able to build the sort of lifestyle that I came into this business for? And you get excited and you put together a plan and you get your leads. And after you got your leads, you get on the phone and you start to make some phone calls and you book some appointments. And then when you get into the home, there's a lot of things that are going on in your mind, and it's really easy to forget about some of the most important opportunities there are in that home. I'll give you an example. Here's the first one. Okay? So I believe the first big missed opportunity that most agents miss is uncovering crucial objections as early as possible. I tell you, one of the things that I like to do when I'm in a meeting is I like to get Mr. and Mrs. Jones and get them in there at their kitchen table. We're building rapport and we're having fun and we're getting to know each other. We're building a little bit of relationship. They're starting to trust me. And when it's time to transition from rapport to serious business, there's a question that I like to ask. And it's, how long have you guys been thinking about mortgage protection? Now, I'll tell you, at this juncture in the meeting, when you ask that question, if you have a person who is maybe on the fence, maybe they're just looking, shopping around, just trying to find some quotes, guess what? They're going to tell you right here. They're going to tell you. And it's not something that you should try to stay away from. It's definitely an objection that you want to know exists way before you ever get to starting talking about options. If they are thinking about giving you the objection of I just wanted some quotes, would you like to know that now, or would you like to know that after an hour of being in their home, talking about options, and you're getting ready to flip open the computer and go in and fill out an e-app, and they say, hey, well, we were just kind of shopping this around and wanting to think about it. Well, the reason why so many agents get that at the end is because we don't allow for opportunities for that objection to actually come up in the very beginning. So when I ask how long you've been thinking about final expense protection, or how long you've been thinking about getting some protection for your mortgage, a lot of times you're going to have a client come right out and they're going to tell you all the reasons of why they have been thinking about getting mortgage protection. They'll tell you, hey, I've been thinking about getting mortgage protection for 6 months since we moved into the place. And we had it before, my parents had it before, and it paid off their house, and I know that. And they'll give you all the reasons. But then they'll also, in some cases, tell you, I've been thinking about it for a week or so. We just got a bunch of these letters come in. That's okay. It's not time to handle that objection or to come up with a cute rebuttal right away. But what you're doing is you're simply taking that and you're putting it away, because you're going to return to it in your presentation. You're going to start to talk about the value of making quick decisions, the value of today, and how their health is more certain than it'll ever be today, right? We don't know what their health looks like a year from now, 6 months from now, 2 months from now. but we know what it looks like today, and it's important while we can qualify that we go ahead and get them qualified. But you'll be able to use that later on in your presentation, but just don't try to handle it right there, okay? So sometimes you'll figure out, they've been thinking about it there again for a couple of years, and they've been putting it off, and they know they need to get something done today, and they'll tell you. Well, that completely helps the direction of my meeting and the way that I'm going to treat it from this point forward, right? Because I know that I can start assuming that this client is going to be doing some business with me, therefore shorten the length of my meeting in a lot of cases and be able to see more people in less time. I'll tell you the second biggest missed opportunity, in my opinion, that through mentoring agents, and I've seen them do over and over and over again. And yes, I've been guilty of it myself, right? And I believe this opportunity, this missed opportunity, is really just setting clear expectations within your meeting, right? Let me tell you what I mean. So when I get down to business, after I've asked, why is it that you decided to do this today? How long have you been thinking about mortgage protection? The next thing I kind of talk about is, as I ask them, have you ever had mortgage protection, or have you ever had this type of coverage if you're talking about funeral expenses, or have you ever had this type of coverage before? A lot of times they'll say yes, sometimes they'll say no. Then I'm able to say, okay, let me explain the way that this meeting has to go, okay? So the first thing that I'm going to be doing is I'm really going to be asking you guys a bunch of questions, some tough, some easy, and it's not so that I can get all in your business, but it is so that I can understand your situation. And so it's like going to a doctor. I can't assume just because you walked in and told me that you had a headache, if I'm the doctor, that I know exactly what the problem is, because I've got to do some tests. I've got to do some blood work. I've got to check some vitals. We've got to get the full picture. And so I'm going to be talking about your finances with you. I'm going to be talking about your health with you. We're going to talk about the mortgage. We'll talk about your goals. But I want to make sure that we get this right because I know it's important to you guys. Fair enough. Great. Second part of what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to, after we got the big picture and I know what's going on, I'm going to educate you on all the options available to you. From there, once you have the education, we'll be able to make more of an educated decision and narrow it down to which one fits you the best. Is that fair enough? Yeah, that's fair enough. And then after we figure out which one fits the best, the final step that I'm going to take with you tonight or today is we're going to put in an application. And I'm going to make sure that we get you approved before I ever leave your table and that your family's protected. Fair enough? Yes. All right. There is a reason why you get through with your presentation and you have that issue transitioning over to application, and it's just because you did not set expectation. If your client expects that the next part of this phase, after me going through education, is to do an application, your chances of writing business, protecting the family, and earning an income are way higher, actually through the roof, versus you going in, winging it, and thinking they know that you're going to do an application without you making that clear, okay? What I believe the third, probably most important, biggest missed opportunity for new agents and well, really agents who've been in the industry for a long time alike, is leaving gaps in protection. How many times do we go into a home and we got a final expense lien, and we go in and we write our final expense policy, or maybe one on him and on her, and then we run out of the house and we're excited and we post in our little group chat, just did a deal $800 in APV. And then we go to the next house and we sit down with them and we write him a mortgage protection policy, and then we do the same thing. We go out and we put it in our chat, and we did not slow down enough and really ask enough good questions to get the client to a place where they were completely protected. When's the last time you went into a home and within the plan, the program that you put together for the client, you also protected their retirement income? You also protected their children, and you allowed for them to have a college fund for their children. I can think of immediately 3 or 4 different policies in every single home that every individual could have on them. See, our problem a lot of times is that we think, man, that's going to cost way too much if I put all this stuff on there and they're never going to take anything from me. And you're probably right for 1 or 2 clients, but the overwhelming majority of people that you show appropriate protection to, complete comprehensive protection to, will see the value in it. There again, if they were interested in buying one policy, they're more than likely interested in getting more coverage and protecting those additional needs. And so when I'm putting together my options, I feel like it's important for me to put together the program. I'm not going to sell them just a mortgage protection product or final expense product, but I'm really going to be protecting their family with the entire program. And so I'm going to build in, when I'm rolling out my options, I'm going to build in the protections for the kids. I'm going to build in the accidental protections. I'm going to build in the disability. And when I go through and explain to them, this is what I see, this is the best solution for you and your family. And I've already told them, hey, if it's something that is, out of budget, say it's out of budget. We'll find what's in your budget. The important thing is that we get you guys protected to the best of our ability, okay? When I roll out the complete plan, 9 times out of 10, that client's gonna say, okay, let's do that. Because they see the value in having everything protected, one-stop shop. You're my guy. Listen, I can guarantee you, if you will work with me, because I'm getting through this as well, and I'm getting better at all of this as well, and if we will join forces in making sure that we tackle these 3 things, and I can tell you there's a few more that I see done all the time and we may talk about later on, but if we'll work on these 3, I can guarantee you're going to become more profitable, you're going to be more confident, and you're going to protect more families.